Welcome to the season of self-love, your daily dose of inspiration and encouragement. I'm your host, Nyomi, and I am thrilled to be here with you today. This podcast is brought to you by Ask Nyomi and Elevate Me Self-Discovery. Are you ready to elevate your mindset and embrace the power of self-love? Or have you come to the right place? Each day we'll dive into topics that will empower and inspire you on your journey towards self-discovery and personal growth. Whether you're looking to cultivate healthy relationships, boost your confidence, or find balance in your life, this podcast is here to support your every step on the way. We believe that self-love is the foundation of living a fulfilled and joyful life. And together we explore practical tips, insightful interviews, and transformative stories that will leave you feeling inspired and motivated. So join me Monday through Friday as we embark on this daily adventure of self-love. Tune into the Season of Self-Love podcast to start your day on a positive note and discover the limitless potential within yourself. Hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Today is Thursday, April 18, 2024, and welcome, my beautiful people, to another episode of the Season of Self-Love. This is where we are going to explore the power of affirmation and self-care to transform our lives. And today we are diving into a very crucial aspect of self-love. The affirmation is, I set healthy boundaries in relationship and prioritize my self-respect. And today joining us is Dr. Will, a seasoned therapist with deep insight into dynamics of relationships and self-respect. Hey, Dr. Will.
Hey, I'm feeling seasoned and smart.
I like that. You know, it's so funny that we're talking about this topic today, that this is the affirmation. Knowing the conversation we both had, that we both had challenging of our boundaries this past weekend. Ain't that something?
Yeah, and I'm telling you, I think today's topic, I hope you have questions. I don't know. I know you have questions probably, but just what's been going on these past week and so, I was like, that's it right there. So, you know, I'm excited to talk about this and really get to the meat of what this really means.
Yeah. So let's do this. Let's take a quick break and then we come back and then we're going to go ahead and peel the layers to this affirmation. All right. All right. It's your girl, the Goddess, Nyomi Banks, here on the Season of Self-Love podcast. And we will be right back.
Washington Wellness Institute focuses on healing always. For me, if I look good, then I feel good. If I feel good, then I share the good. If I share the good, then I celebrate the good. If I celebrate the good, then I live the good. So I can be paid to be my greatest. But I have to learn the good to be the good.
So, what does it take to be the greatest? It's as simple as a free 15-minute consultation. Be kind to yourself and heal always.
Get ready to embark on a journey of self-discovery and well-being on Thursday, April 25th, as Ask Nyomi bridging the gap with special guest, yoga expert and lifestyle guru Shahida Kareem. Join us live at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for an insightful and inspiring conversation that will elevate your mind, body, and soul. Shahida Kareem, a beacon of positivity and wisdom in the world of wellness, will share her transformative insights on yoga, lifestyle, and holistic well-being. Discover how to enhance your daily routine, cultivate mindfulness, and achieve a harmonious balance between mind, body, and spirit. This exclusive event is your opportunity to connect with a true visionary in the realm of health and wellness. Tune in to Ask Nyomi on April 25th at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to experience the magic of Shahida Kareem's teachings and unlock the secrets to a more vibrant, fulfilling life. Don't miss this chance to expand your horizons and embrace a new way of living. Mark your calendars, set your alarms, and join us live for an unforgettable evening of enlightenment with Shahida Kareem on Ask Nyomi's Bridging the Gap. See you.
Get ready to bloom and blossom this April with Season of Self-Love. It's a month filled with daily affirmations designed to uplift and empower you on your self-love journey. Join us as we delve deeper into these affirmations and learn how they can positively impact your daily life. Hosted by the insightful Nyomi. Each episode promises to be an incredible affirmation experience. Plus, we're thrilled to have our resident therapist, Dr. Will Washington, joining us to provide expert guidance and support. Tune in daily to the Season of Self-Love podcast and let's discover together the power of self-love, affirmation, and personal growth. Don't miss out on this transformative journey. Subscribe now and start blooming into the best version of yourself. The Season of Self-Love podcast, where every day is an opportunity for growth and self-love.
All right, well, welcome back. It's your girl, Goddess Nyomi here on the Season of Self-Love podcast. And today we're talking about understanding the affirmation of I set boundaries in relationship and prioritize my self-respect. And we have Dr. Will here with us, that's joining us in this conversation to help us to break it down. What's going on, Dr. Will?
I feel friendly and focused right now. Yeah.
Would you say friendly and focused? I know that is right. All right. So what I want to do is I want to just do a nice little grounding before we get into this topic, and I'm doing it a little different this time. All right. So I want everybody to close their eyes and get prepared for this one. As you find a comfortable position, gently close your eyes and take a deep breath in, allowing the air to fill your lungs, and then exhaling slowly, releasing any tension or stress. Today, our affirmation is I set healthy boundaries in relationships and I prioritize my self-respect. I want you to visualize yourself surrounded by warm, protective light, wrapping you in a sense of security and self-worth. Feel the strength and confidence emanating from within you. Imagine a garden within your heart and picture yourself planting the seeds of self-respect and nurturing them with love and care. I want you to see these boundaries growing strong and tall, creating a clear space of respect and understanding around you. With each inhale, I want you to breathe in empowerment and self-respect. And with each exhale, I want you to release any doubts or fears that may try to undermine your boundaries. Now I want you to repeat this affirmation quietly to yourself. I set healthy boundaries in relationships and prioritize my self-respect. I want you to feel the power of this intention resonating within you and guiding you to honor yourself and your needs in all your interactions. Now I want you to take a moment to bask in the warmth of your self-assurance, knowing that you are deserving of respect and love. Now when you are ready, gently open your eyes and carry this sense of empowerment and self-worth with you throughout the day. And may you walk with strength, grace, and the unwavering belief in your own worthiness. I set boundaries in relationships and prioritize my self-respect. I'm going to say that one more time. I set boundaries in relationships and prioritize my self-respect.
Yeah.
All right, if you're new here to the Season of Self-Love podcast, it's something that we do every day, Monday through Friday, to where we center and ground ourselves before we talk about the topic at hand. And today, of course, we're talking about understanding this affirmation. And April is all about blossoming and blooming into who you are, of true love and all of those things with yourself, but also it's about affirmations. And what we're doing with affirmations is we're taking different affirmations that I've created some, I've gotten some that I've seen around, and peeling them and see where they apply into your daily life. And how can we? See, a lot of times we use different words and we just put them together and we don't use them. We don't even know how to use them. We don't know how to apply them. So now we're going to break them down. But this one right here, This one right here. Yeah, I was challenged with this all weekend long. Yeah, yeah, all the way until the hour.
I'm 6 days in right now. I'm fighting right now. This affirmation is my sword.
I hear you on that one. I hear you on
Mhm.
that one. But again, it's always good to see you, Dr. Wood. We had great conversations before the show,
Yeah.
during the show, and after the show. So I had to
Sometimes I
get off.
forget when we're recording.
Huh?
I sometimes forget I forget when we're recording, when we're not recording, because I think I forget sometimes. I'm like, we should be recording this.
But for you, I want to talk about setting boundaries. Why are they important, or why are they so vital for our self-respect of setting boundaries?
Yeah, and I want to first break the social stigma of boundaries first, right?
Oh, mm-hmm.
So let's kind of let's Washington wellness it up a little bit. So normally when you think of boundaries, you think of, well, I'm putting a boundary on this so that it doesn't affect me. I'm putting a boundary on this so it doesn't affect me. The difference here is that what we want to do with boundaries is ask ourselves, what things do I need to be more sensitive of so that these people won't step into those moments where I have to actually be a part of it. Boundaries are not meant to push people away. They're meant for you to be more emotionally accountable of. And that's where we have to start with boundaries. So, I think I call them landmines, where if I know something that triggers me, if I know that, leaving your dish in the sink is a trigger for me, because back in the day, that's where I got punished for a lot in my life, right? And if someone is done eating dinner, they're going to put their dish in the sink, right? And so before I actually get angry with them, I should go, oh, hey, I'm just letting you know I don't like my dishes in the sink. Hand me the dish so that I can wash it for you, right? The boundary was, I am setting you up for success when being with me, because I understand what my triggers are. I understand what my stressors are. I know what my microaggressions are, right? And so it's important to understand that even the way we look at triggers, a lot of times the triggers we talk about that are triggers are actually just microaggressions or preferences that we have, or pet peeves that we may be experiencing. So that's the first thing. It's just understanding that our boundaries, we have to take the offensive approach to boundaries and not the reactive approach to boundaries. A lot of us don't do that because we've been taught that we're used to put boundaries against people. It's not about the other people. They're living their life.
Mm-hmm.
We have to own our own.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm about to say this, right?
Mm-hmm. That's always a bad setup. That's always a bad setup.
No, but in all seriousness, no, in all seriousness. So as you were saying that, I got everything you said, and I do understand
Mm-hmm.
that. And I'm gonna be very honest. What have been my problems before is setting boundaries with myself, meaning that,
Mm.
yeah, meaning that I'm a, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm saying the correct words. Um,
Say with your heart.
yeah. Um, that I understand about the boundaries towards others. But what my boundaries is the guilt. Does that make sense? The guilt
Mm.
on being triggered, or not
Mm-hmm.
allowing someone to have that access to me at that time, putting myself first. You understand what I'm saying? And
Mm.
so that's a lot of things that I had to do within my healing journey, is to even set boundaries with myself and understand what that looked like for me, if that makes sense. So, and I
Mm.
hear you when you say about not pushing away. I get that. Um, but I guess now, and I think we talked about this a little bit last week. Now I have set boundaries to where I've cut people off completely, because I've constantly allowed them to go beyond that boundary that I've set. Even I get with the
Mm.
triggers and say, well, and they will come back for ratings. Remember, you just said not too long. They will come back with ratings as I'm constantly, checking myself and, and say, okay, not a reaction, but, in a study. So I said, okay, cut.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think that, I think they're too close when you have to push them away, right? For them to get close enough for you to have to actually push them away, they're already gone too far if you have the correct boundary. If I have to actually push them away, what the guilt is the fact that you had to put enough energy to push somebody away, and you didn't actually preserve your own energy to actually keep it as sacred as it truly is. Right. And that is a hard thing for people to actually, for myself, to even be able to say, hey, I can't do this anymore because when I'm around you, I feel miserable. No one wants to hear that. But what we have to understand is that because I know it makes me feel miserable, I need to set up things in my life so that you're not a factor in what I do. Right. And that's something that a lot of us don't get time to actually plan because we're so worked up in trying to just be correct. We want things to be right. We want things to be okay. And unfortunately, people that want to cross our boundaries, they don't care if we're good or bad. They just want time. They want space, and they want something that from a memory that has nothing to do with where you're going at right now in your life.
No, I received that. As you were saying that too, I was thinking why this affirmation is just so loud to me is because in the process of allowing someone with the boundaries to keep crossing over into the boundaries, that's where you feel a lack of self-respect for yourself, because you feel, first of all, you've allowed that other person to disrespect you in a matter to continue to come through your boundaries on what you set. And so that
it ruins your own integrity.
Yeah.
And I'm curious. Do you ever feel when your integrity is being like tainted?
Yes. Oh, I said that really loud. Yes.
I'm listening.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I do. So let me say this. A lot of people judge me by my cover. And my cover is adult entertainer, adult starlet, Nyomi. That's my cover. Nyomi is my cover. So people automatically judge me from my cover. And it does, and I have to be honest, it does set it up for people to come in to challenge my integrity or who I am, because they feel my cover shows me doing this. In their eyes, this is not respectable. This is, you understand? So now the way that I talk with her or speak with her, or, is of another stand, you know what I'm saying? So it allows them to, they feel it allows them to, let me correct that. If they feel that it allows them to come to me any kind of way in a very disrespectful way, or even to ask me something that is not of, or ask me to do something that is not of. So I offer guided meditations, right? And you can no longer be accessible to me in the form of adult entertainment. You can't. So they think, say, well, let me get on this boat right here where she's on this boat. Let me get on this boat. Let me see how far I can go with her on this boat. So let me see. Okay, I want to place an order for a guided meditation. All right. So what is it that you need? What is it that you say? Well, I was wondering if you can do something special for me. Well, what's that? I mean, what's that special? Well, could you say, da na 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 na? No, that's not what this is. That's not what it is. Well, you are doing this to help people heal, spiritually and sexually and stuff. No, that's not what that is. That's
Mhm.
not what that is. There are steps to go to even get to the sexual healing part. So we just don't go
Right.
into the sexual healing part right away.
Right.
That's what people think, that we go directly to
Mhm.
the sexual healing,
They
and
think
there's no
history
other
has an
place.
access.
Hmm?
Mm. They think that your history has an access.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Wow. That honestly, that sounds frustrating because it's because what you actually have to offer is probably what they actually do need.
Yeah.
But but they're not even ready to see that for themselves yet.
Right.
And so I'm wondering what the denial, right, or the rejection does for their mentality, because they used manipulative or they used motive based foundation trying to manipulate your purpose, and then you gave them a reflection of the lack of their own purpose. What I wonder, what type of discourse does that put them on, right? Where does that take them?
And I do. I hear what you're saying, and now I'm trying to not say what I want to say. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but I believe sometimes people, and I'm not gonna say all, because I have a lot of people that come from, of my fan base there, and I understand they are a part of my purpose. So a lot of them
Mm-hmm.
do come in understanding what the language is, and you do have some that come in and test. I believe those that do
Right.
come in and test is just that they come in and test that they don't have a discord of anything or what happened. If I get in
Mhm.
and get in and get the way I want it, then yeah. If I don't, peace, fuck them. That's
Yeah.
what I feel. You know.
Yeah.
So
But that line that you drew in that, right? That's a really hard line to draw for people when they don't know why they're setting their boundaries, right? When you don't know why you're setting your boundaries, what is a priority in self-respect? What is self-respect in that moment, right? And I think that a lot of times we do not understand our self-respect and why it's the integrity of it's such a priority,
mhm.
because we don't understand the stakes of what a boundary really means for our own wellness,
Yes,
right?
very draining. It can be very, very draining, especially if you do something that you really don't want to do, and you do it because you want um, a likeness, or you want to make sure that that person know that you love them. You understand what I'm saying? Or you're not a mean
Hmm.
person or whatever like that. So, but then at the end of the day, when you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, I really did not want to do that. I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to give that. You understand what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Knowing that that's not what you're supposed to be doing. So I
Hmm.
have a situation here that someone had sent me something or asked me for something, um, and I had to say no.
Mm.
And in that process of me saying no, I had to go and sit and pray about it. And what I had to pray about it is pray for me forgiving myself, because I know what my heart is. I know that my heart felt bad for that person, but I also know that
Mm.
in the past I was um I was added on to their situation, meaning that they could come to me and get whatever they want to money, and I will send it to them. You understand what I'm saying? And so when
Hmm.
I cut that, it took a lot to cut that, because as you said, you want to be that person that saves everyone. You want to be that person that saves.
Yes.
You want to be that person that be, and that's something that I've always said to my family, is that I will always
Hmm.
be here for y'all. If I got it, y'all got it. You understand what I'm saying? But it's
Yeah.
like at a point to where no, because we're old, we're getting much older, and you're still doing the same thing, and it hasn't
Yeah.
changed. So what is this doing? You getting this from me? What is it doing to better your life, that when you won't have to come back to me next week
Hmm.
or next month, or you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And if it is not doing that, I have, because I'm messing up what God has planned for you. I've
Right.
now put myself in thinking that I'm God, not thinking that I'm God, but I'm going ahead and doing, no, I got to move out the way, because now you have to see what's happening. You have to learn from whatever it is that you're going through, or that you're supposed to see or learn. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is a big self-disclosure for me. You know, I am a recovering rescuer. I don't tell people that. And I have been tested severely in these past couple weeks, these past 2-3 months almost. And I have put myself in other people's fires, and it burns, it hurts. But I'm thinking, oh, I'm doing the right thing because this is what they needed. This is their fire, and I'm showing them, hey, I'm in your fire right now. Like this is, and they're like, I'm not jumping in that. I'm like, okay, well, I'll get rid of it, right? And then they set another fire, and then I jump in that one, and I keep going and crossing my own boundaries.
Yeah.
And then thinking that I'm respecting myself because I'm doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And all the time, I never actually grew in any of that. And so now that I'm actually stepping back, they're getting upset that I'm not putting their fires out. But also I feel that impulse in me that's like, well, what are you worth? We're not helping them. You're not worthy. You got to go in there and help people, or not, you're not a good person.
Mm-hmm.
When you feel so pulled to help so many people and you never took the time to help yourself, that was me avoiding the self-respect and nurturing that I needed. So I had to put a boundary on myself.
Yeah.
And now it's changing the entire, my level of peace is changing again. I'm realizing how still and how peaceful I actually am, and how I leave my own pond to jump into somebody else's fire. It's been rough.
Mm-hmm.
It's been rough. And I'm just, and I think it's a level of humility too I'm getting from this, because I'm able to be like, I can't believe I did this. And I'm more willing to apologize about myself rather than, I don't care what they did.
Mm-hmm.
I care about what I did. Like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm sorry. I should have never did that. And I apologize. I should have let you handle that. I was not being emotionally responsible. I can say my part. Even if I did good for them, I did good for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the self-respect.
Yeah, you preaching now. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm recovering still. It's hard though, because like I'm telling you, I when I see that rescuer signal, that rescuer bat signal in the sky, I'm like, Gotham needs me. I'm ready. I feel like Batman. I'm ready to just to put the cape on, and I'm like, I gotta retire this cape.
Yeah.
I gotta retire this cape, and I have to consistently do it every single hour.
Yeah.
But once you know who you are and you know the power you hold in yourself,
Yeah.
you recognize that you can't give your power to. That's actually a very abusive that you actually use so much of your power.
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest things when it comes to boundaries is recognizing how powerful you actually are.
Mm-hmm.
You don't realize that. That's why you help so many people, because you're very powerful. You're an overflow.
Mm-hmm.
That's overflow.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm recognizing how powerful I am as a man, as a human being, as a spiritual being on this world. And I'm kind of resetting how I interject myself into human life.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's so important, especially as men.
Yeah. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. What I'm seeing now, we have to, okay, so let me go back a little bit. We have to unlearn what the word selfish means. Follow me when I say this. Because a lot of the things that we just talked about just in here about putting ourselves first and doing these type of things, or blocking, different setting boundaries for certain people, or feeling not helping that comes from people telling us that we're selfish if we don't help A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You understand what I'm saying? We were never taught what boundaries were. We were never.
Mm.
If you think about it, and I can only speak for my family. My family was a very a family that come from survival of a scarcity and fear. You know, and in that process, it's like, okay, we're family. We all together. We have to help each other, which is true, right? Let's help each other, but we can't keep subscribing to the same toxic behavior and not making those accountable for it. And we still going through the same thing. We still doing the same thing, looking for different a different outcome of it, you know. So now it's like, where in this process do we now have to start setting boundaries? Because now all of those things is how we react. So remember, you were speaking about, it's not about how we react to things, but it's how we proact to things. Everybody, this is what we were taught. We were taught to react and not to proact. We were taught that, even when you just spoke about with boundaries, I totally agree with you on part of that. When you said about those triggers for us, and we get those triggers. So now we have to be more aware on acknowledging and having that other person acknowledge on why they have triggered us. But also now we have to carry with us is that now we've hurt that person's feeling. They're going to go back and say it to A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. Then when they come back and look at you, then it's something, because they don't even understand the language of setting boundaries. You understand what I'm saying? And so how can you explain to listeners out there that are going through that?
Yeah. The biggest thing is understanding, and this is just funny that you asked me this, because my family, we were overtaught and overlearned on the gratitude. You should be grateful there are people here. We should show gratitude. We should show gratitude and gratefulness. And so I worked so hard because I should be grateful for being in this space. I should be grateful for having this thing. I should be grateful for having people come to me, and I have resources. I should be grateful to give to people. And it's like you're taught that so much that you made access not even a privilege anymore.
Yeah.
It's just a door that people can walk in and walk out how they need to. I never had a value on my access. So we got to reset the value of what access means in your life, in our lives.
You know, when you just said that, and I closed my eyes and I saw both of my grandmothers. And both of my grandmothers, their homes were, as I would call, a revolving door, that they allowed any and everybody to come into the house because they wanted to help them. They wanted to help everybody. My father's mother, beautiful woman, beautiful spirit. She raised other people's children, you know, as well as her own. And but bringing those entities into your home, you know, you don't know what all of that carries on to your own children. My mom's mother, the same thing. And when I laugh at it, I think about me. I was doing that same thing. I allowed my door in my home to be a revolving door for friends and loved ones to come in, and you know, and to say it now is to misuse my goodness, my heart, you know what I'm saying?
A home.
Yeah, you know, and now that I've learned to set my boundaries for that, people don't understand what that is. Because you're right, I've always made myself accessible. So no one never thought that it was a privilege to be accessible to me. You know, they never knew.
Yes.
They never understood.
They never knew it.
No, they never knew it. And you know, can I be very honest? I won't even put the blame on them because I didn't know it either. I just thought that I was just being,
Exactly.
that I was just being a mimic of my grandmother's. Well, we're
Mhm.
family. There's people out there that needs help, which is true enough. It is. We are supposed to serve one another,
Mhm.
but at some point in time, there has to be a door that has an
Mhm.
accessible too cold
Yes.
to get in there. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And what I didn't realize, and I realize it now, and it's because I was kept giving from a half full cup. And so I was
Mm.
always drained and trying to work to put half of the cup, in and
Yeah.
steady pouring, so I never had my cup like this because it was always
Right.
tilted. So I never knew
Mm.
how to just allow it to to fill up.
Yeah.
Now, now that's what I'm doing now. I'm allowing it to fill up. Um, do a tip a little bit, probably just like this, but it ain't like it was before.
I'm trying to learn not to tip my
Yeah.
cup anymore, right? We
Mhm.
talked about that in one of our last talks where I'm like, I'm not trying to tip my cup. I want it to flow over, and whoever's underneath, they can put their
Exactly.
cup underneath it. But even the thought of having to balance that cup so you don't have to drop it. That's I'm not even thinking about I shouldn't even be thinking about how to balance my own stuff. I should be just sitting in my purpose and being still in my life. And if it comes out, it comes out. And if not,
Yes.
and those who know my value will wait.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
who know my value will wait.
Yeah. I like that. Say that again. Those who know my value
Will
will
wait.
wait. Mm. Mm. You know what? I just had like a boom. Before I didn't know my value. Now I know my value. I didn't know.
Mm,
Now I know my value. Yeah.
mm,
And when you said that, I was like, ding, ding, ding. I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That's why this healing process is so different than my last healing processes. Because in my last healing process, I set all these boundaries up, and this is my self respect, and I was putting all these things in up ahead, and it looked really nice. It was really beautiful, but I didn't understand my value. So then, when I was going through my healing process, I was rushing things, or I was mad about the lack of expectation that's happening. The measurements of it weren't coming clean. I wasn't getting the right people around me, and I was just getting frustrated by how things weren't moving in my favor and my flow because I didn't understand my own value.
Mm,
And so I didn't really know what I was waiting for.
mm-hmm.
So then I had a very low tolerance and I had a very short endurance. Now that I understand what I actually am capable of and what I actually have to offer, my tolerance, my patience, and my endurance has all being poured into this value, is
Mm-hmm.
all being revitalized. And now I'm okay with waiting for the things I'm doing. And the people that are around me, I tell them I'm doing A, B, and C in my life right now. I tell them, and they will either respect that and wait with me, or they'll just keep asking more questions to see what else they can get from me before they move on.
Yeah. But
I
so
can tell.
right. So let me ask you in that moment, and why I want to say this because I know this is a common problem or action that probably a lot of listeners are going through when they do give that 1, 2, 3, that ABC, and you steady have that one person that continues to keep asking you to see probably like 5 or 6 different ways the same question to see if they can get something from you. What practical tip can you get them to? No, let me go back. Let me come back. What do they do next?
They
How
make you
do they go about
they
the
guilt you. They guilt you,
boundary?
right? They make you share the shame and guilt that they have. They
Mhm,
make you feel bad for not doing what you normally would do. They make you feel guilty. They go back to the past. They go
mhm,
down memory lane with you, reminding you of the things that you weren't with them,
mhm,
remembering how good you used to be, or reminding you of everything that you used to be as when you were the enabler, when you
mhm,
were the rescuer,
mhm,
right? When you were their victim,
mhm.
right? They remind you of your past so they can rationalize your worth, right? They rationalize your worth and your value. So that's what they first do.
Y'all hear that?
Yeah.
hmm Yeah. That's what they do. You because as you saying this, I got these pictures of these different people that's been in my life that now do not no longer have that's not accessible to me at all. And I see it. I saw it then. You know, it's like, wow. Mm,
Yeah.
okay. Mm, mm, mm.
It's bad. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so I have another beautiful loved one that has not realized their value or their worth.
Mm.
And I hope that this person, and I'm going to send this person this link to this show. Because family can make, and I love my family. I am a very family, or don't think that I am. But I've now learned is that I cannot do anything else for anybody until I do for myself, meaning that I have to go through this healing process. I have to understand what is my value and purpose in life. And just because a lot of people in my family or even friends or whatever do not know what their purpose or their value is in life, a lot of them see their value is working a 9 to 5 and providing for their family. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm more than that. And to be very honest, they are more than that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that the hardest part of that is breaking is having the unlearning. You gotta
Yeah.
break what you learned.
Yeah.
And that's scary because you gotta think about the risks. What happens when I realize that what I'm doing is not enough?
Yeah.
Who am I? What do I become? Who tells me I'm enough? Who tells me it is enough? Who do I rely upon? Those
That's
are
where self-love come in. That's where that self-love, when you can look in that mirror at yourself and you can say you are enough. And everyone else around you, that's extra on you. You know what I'm saying? That's just extra on the top of the greatness that you already are. You know,
right.
we can go down this rabbit hole. And
But you had that second part of that question. You said earlier, like, what happens when someone takes you back down? Like, what do you do when someone wants you to like do something that you're no longer able to? Right? You fail in front of them. Fail in front of them. I literally go. Someone asked me for money the other day, and I go, I can't pay you. I'm too broke right now. I tell them, I'm like, I got $5 in my account. I got 100 in my savings. I ain't got it.
Yeah.
Like I become the worst thing that they possibly would need in that moment.
Yeah.
Yo, borrow your car because of this. I ain't got gas. I'll put gas in your car. I ain't got a tank. You ain't got a tank? No.
That's not funny, but
I ain't got it.
you ain't got a tank. Yeah. Yeah.
I just continue to fail in front of them because the truth is that they're not gonna, if they take those failures to somebody else, that means there's one more person that's not gonna bother you about something they think you had. Give them a story to tell that removes you from the access.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm so painfully accurate with everything I say so that they have a true story that they can take and tell. I tell them, or what I do is I do the 30-day mark. I go, hey, I only got $5 in my account, but if you hit me back up in 27 days, hit me back up. They'll never remember because they need it now. They're not thinking about the investments of your life. They're thinking about the scarcity of their own life. So if 27 days, so even if you feel like you don't feel like saying no, give them a deadline. Oh yeah, get me back in 32 days. Hit me back up. And come back. Hit me back in 30 days. Well, you said that last time. Well, I ain't got it. Hit me back up in 32 days. It's crazy how well that one works. I didn't think that would actually work out, but it does. I don't know why it's 32 days, but it works out. Because they're like, oh, it's a little bit over a month. That's what they're thinking. Oh, it's just a little bit over a month. So then they make that boundary. They make that boundary. Yeah.
All right, so let's take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're gonna get a little. We're gonna talk some more. We're gonna talk some more. I don't know what line it, but we gonna talk some more, right? It's your girl, you got it, Nyomi Banks here on the Season of Self Love podcast, and we'll be right back.
Welcome to the Season of Self Love podcast with Nyomi Banks, where every day is a chance to embrace self-discovery and personal growth. Join Nyomi on a transformative journey, streaming exclusively on Spotify and Breaker. With daily episodes from Monday through Friday, podcast is your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and self-love. Dive deep into engaging conversations about self-care, mindfulness, and personal development. Nyomi brings you expert insights, practical tips, and uplifting stories from thought leaders in the field. Embark on a journey of self-discovery and unlock the power of self-love. Mark your calendars and tune in to the Season of Self-Love podcast. Available every weekday on Spotify and Spreaker. Remember, it's time to prioritize yourself and embrace the beautiful season of self-love. Get inspired and join Nyomi Banks on the Season of Self-Love podcast.
Hey, it's Dr. Will with the Washington Wellness Institute. Here at the Institute, we focus on so many different things, but our biggest focus is modernizing how we take mental illness into holistic wellness and making healing a lifestyle. So, if you're interested in taking the next steps, whether it's a clinician, community member, or simply just a friend, sign up today for a 15-minute consultation. You won't regret it. Be kind to yourself and heal always.
All right, well, welcome back. It's your girl, the Goddess Nyomi Banks here on the Season of Self Love podcast, and I am here with Dr. Will. Hey.
Hey, tenacious and thought out.
Today we're talking about understanding the affirmation of I set boundaries in relationships and prioritize my self-respect. And then before the break, we were talking about self-respect. We were talking about how to get through it or past it, knowing our value and our worth. We talked about a lot of good things. We did.
We really broke down boundaries and prioritization. Really
yes.
Good.
That was really good. Yeah, it was. So I want to keep on the course right now before we jump off of it, because we can jump off of some stuff real good. really good. All right. So you all know that April is the month of blooming and blossoming. And in April, with this theme, is a renewal and growth. And it seems like it's perfect for me to reinforce these practices. So, Dr. Will, how can listeners use this season to strengthen their boundary setting skills?
Yes. This season is such a great reminder of how you are rooting yourself and what are you soiling, right? We have to see ourselves as the seed. And so you have to ask yourself, where are you rooting yourself? Sometimes it's not about who you are, it's about where you are, right? And so that's the first thing. A lot of us can't just say, I'm leaving my apartment, I'm leaving my house, I'm going to go here. You're not just going to pack up and leave. But what you can do is understand that the space that you are in, whether it's moving your furniture around, maybe it's changing when and how you eat, maybe it's how you wake up in the morning, how you are facing the window, using more natural lights instead of electricity, right? Being able to do small differences allows you to change your world first. Then you got to think about the way that you're soiling. So the way you nutrient yourself, right? And making these boundaries, you have to understand that these boundaries are live plants. Boundaries are living, breathing things. And so these boundaries aren't bricks. They're live, just like plants. And so as you're soiling, you're putting this new water in, your boundaries are going to switch and adjust. Mm-hmm. And it's okay if your boundaries change. They're supposed to change because the higher up you go, the more awareness you'll have, right? And my golden rule, self-awareness comes emotional responsibility. With self-awareness comes emotional responsibility. And so as you're moving and you're creating your boundaries, understand that fluidity, flow, and passion are all going to come together, because you're going to start having a new passion about yourself, because people will not be the same value again because you're valuing yourself differently.
Right. I like that. Also, okay, so this, because I know I have a lot of listeners that are they're stuck. They're stuck in between the guilt, as we talked about, with family, friends, or with loved ones, whatever. Can you give an example on how someone might be that can effectively set a boundary in a changing situation, in a challenging situation? Yeah.
Yeah. I like to use this sentence phrase. There's 2 sentence phrases. So get your purpose paper and purpose pen. We're going to do it real quick. The first one is to be honest, ... Right? When you say, hey, well, to be honest with you, I can no longer do this. It's just too much for me right now. I can no longer do this. This is too much for me right now. Owning yourself. Hey, well, to be honest with you, this is what I'm going through. Right? And you don't have to say specifically what it is because they know how they're using you. They know what they're doing. But they don't understand what you're going through. And so that's a great way to say it without having to say it. And then the second way is the I, but, and method. Hey, I understand you need this from me, but I don't feel comfortable anymore. And I hope you find another way. I understand this is what you need, but I can't do this anymore. And I hope we can still be okay and I make these changes. And I hope we can be cool later on. That's a full thing. So the I, but, and statement, and then the, well, to be honest. Those are 2 ways that are really effective ways to for communication.
No, I like that. I do. Oh, yeah. You dropping some stuff for me today. Like, really. I mean, these are things that I've done. And I remember me doing those things, not knowing what they were, but doing them and being thrown back at me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It being thrown back right at me, and I think that was the moment. That was the moment when I said, "Oh yeah, I'm changing my phone number." Like, really. I think that's when, because I said, this is what I said. I said, wow, this person, they got the nerve to really say, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And when I said, okay, you've been doing a lot of work on you, girl. You've been doing a lot of work on yourself. And so instead of you going back, you don't have to go back and forth with this person. You don't have to do that anymore. You can easily change your phone number. And just whoever you've given that number to, just ask them to respect that number, and then if they give it, change it again, and then don't give it to that person.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that's been a part of my boundaries. So there's different. So tell me if you agree. There's different levels to boundaries for me.
Yes.
Yeah, there's different levels.
I have 3.
Yeah, there's different levels to boundaries for me. The first one that I think about now more than anything is boundaries for myself, because I've been known to, and I've done it all my life, is that I will throw my boundaries out and just do whatever for whoever, and not whatever that I'm feeling. It doesn't matter, just as long as they are good. You know what I mean? Now I do think about my boundaries for myself, and I say, you know what? Is that helping you anyway? Is that what we're working on right now? Is that what we? And I have those conversations with myself, and I say, okay, now you can't feel guilty about that, because you're not helping them. You're hindering them. Is that the type of love that you want to keep showing them? Is that the type of love that you want to keep showing them?
Right.
So for me, that's one. Then the next one is that, and you look at it as boundaries, and it is, but I look at it as, I kind of put myself in that person's space, and I kind of give them time, meaning that Meaning that, and I'm trying to make sure that I don't say this person's name out loud because I want to say the situation. It's like if they constantly calling me for help about the same thing, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, and because their heart is of purity, of gold, and you want to be there to be that ear for them, to help them through it, but they're not listening to their own self. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. But when you're on that phone and you're on that conversation with them, you are drained because you're trying to get it to them, and it's not sticking, to them. So my boundary there is that I might not answer the phone call for them on that day. And these are just, my boundaries. And then the next one is I just cut you all the way off. Those are my boundaries.
Those are like steep cliffs. And that is and it's amazing how like they're very like if it was a mountain, it's like boom, drop, boom, off. It's like, and my thing is a lot of people there's like a slope, right? It's like it'll slowly slope its way out, but you actually have a cutoff on when you can and cannot handle something with somebody.
And it's for me, and this is for me.
Yeah.
Because I know I've had a temper. I know I can, as you say, I can be a rating. I can be a reality show on my damn self. You understand what I'm saying? And so in that aspect, I'm not subscribed to that reality show anymore. So I'm not getting ready to give you that. They know she about to go off. And they'll sit there with their popcorn and watch me go off. But then after I go off, I will still give them the very thing that they asked me for.
Right.
But I don't do that anymore. I haven't done that in years. And so now when they come now it's more, okay, she's very spiritual now. So now her heart is very, is very pure. And so she wants to be this. And it's like, But now I go through one, I check myself. The two,
Right.
I would sit and listen, and then I would look at the phone and like, okay, I'm not gonna answer, But then I'll come back to them. But then but then in that process, I would not feel as guilty anymore because I understand why I'm doing it, because I don't want to cut them all the way off. I still want to be that person to be there for them. But how can you help that person when, not that they don't want to help, they don't think they're deserving of help. So how can you show someone else their value?
See, you can't show them their value. You can only show them your own worth, and they'll see themselves. That's the hardest part of it, is that when you make people see what they're worth, the reaction may be good or bad. You just don't know.
Yeah. And then the other part is the cliff. So I don't know if there is a middle. You said the slope. I don't think no. I think I've been the slope all my life. I've been the slope. That hasn't worked for me. Now I can't be the slope anymore.
Yeah, and I think you've learned. I think you've grown into. I think you know what you're capable of, and a lot of people have the slope because they don't know what they're capable of, and you understand what you could have been, and you're realizing what you're trying to be, which is why you have very clear drop-offs.
Yeah,
and a lot of times people are right now chiseling their way to having that, and that's not easy because you don't know how high that boundary has to go up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like the way you did that. I really do.
Yeah.
I see mine more as a circle and filter of language, but it's, I change mine based upon my language with people.
Yeah, no, it's just, it's funny when we even sit here and talk right now about this topic, and it's like, even though I've done the work on myself and continue to do the work on myself, there's still more work right here. And right here, those are some of my inner circle. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, some of my inner circle. So as I continue to grow, then I start to tap on that inner circle to, to do the growth as well. You know what I'm saying? To do the work, from there. And I guess it's like more of working inside out. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Even with this platform here, yes, I want to be able to help the whole entire world. And that's what I'm doing by sitting on this platform. But I also have to share what I'm going through at this moment in this time, to know that, yes, I'm still speaking in this way, but I still know that there's still growth. Now I went through this layer. Now I got a whole nother layer to get through, you know,
Mm.
because that inner circle, and I have to be real, that inner circle of mine has been my support. We talk about finding people, the support system, and those
Yeah.
people have been supporting me, and they have been supporting me blindly, meaning that they don't
Mm.
understand everything that is happening, is going on with me, but they trust and believe and
Hmm.
know my value and worth, that we riding with you. We feel you, we see you, we hear you. Okay, now I see you hearing
Yeah.
me. Now I want you to feel and see and hear yourself. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that is the byproduct of that self-worth and that self-respect, is that the people that truly believe and trust in your path and that will see themselves and be able to speak of themselves without you even having to prompt them. And I think that's a really big thing. I noticed that when I remove people in my boundaries, I noticed that my language is more short with people. I just
Mm,
answer people with yes and no's to play. Like when I'm done with you, it's either yes, no, or it's just very like right to the point. What I could tell you, what I could show you, what I could help you with, it's not even on the table anymore. It's like, I will let you live in your ignorance. I will let you do that. You can be around me, but you'll never really get the fullness of what you could, because you limited yourself, because I know that you will never actually value what I actually have to offer.
yeah.
You can still be around me. I'm just not going to give you the background to the explanations. You know, I'm going to give you 1 + 1 = 2. I'm not going to tell you what addition means. I'm not going to tell you what the equal sign is. I'm not going to tell you the theory behind addition. I'm just not. I'm just going to give you 1 + 1 = 2. And sometimes it's just, I hate to say that, but I used to think that was me looking down on people.
Mm,
I used to think that because I was such in a place of, well, I should be grateful I have this knowledge and this awareness. No, no, no. Not everybody needs to know everything right now.
mm-hmm.
Not everybody's on this. Just because I know it doesn't mean they have to have it.
Right.
That's that's just that's a boundary,
Mm-hmm. Mm,
right?
mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm. Well, Dr. Wills, you always tell us some good stuff. You always tell us some good stuff, and why I'm saying this is because we've come past our hour on this.
We have.
Yeah, we have. Yes, we have, and it's always
That was your fault.
it was
Uh-huh.
it was. I don't think so, but I'll take it. I'll go ahead. I'll take it. I'll take it. But again, to Dr. Will, I thank you so much for sharing your expertise, and this was such an empowering topic. And for my listeners out there, boundaries. Hold tight to them. Understand. I love the way, and let me go back because I'm about to make a lot. I love the way that you broke it down in the beginning of understanding of what boundaries are. Thank you for that. And I truly hope that the listeners did hear you when you said that,
Mhm.
because you are right. When people say boundaries, people like it's a complete up cut off. Damn, that's there.
Mhm.
And I like the way that you use the verbiage, the words for it, to where they can be able to understand what that is. And
Yeah.
thank you for helping me to break down this affirmation. So before we leave, is there anything that you want to share with our listeners before you go?
Be kind to yourself and heal always.
Just that simple. All right, my beautiful
Mhm.
people, as we wrap this episode today, I want to encourage all of you to take what we've discussed and to implement all of these into your boundaries and watch as your relationship transform. I want you to stay tuned for our next episode tomorrow on nurturing self-compassion. So until then, embrace your journey of self-love. Have a good one. Thank you for listening to the Season of Self-Love podcast. And we hope that you enjoyed this fun filled with inspiration, empowerment, and self-discovery. Remember, practicing self-love is a journey and not a destination. For more information and to stay connected with us, visit our website at theseasonofselflovepodcast.com. And if you have any suggestions or questions or feedback, feel free to shoot us an email at seasonofselflove@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook for daily doses of self-love tips, motivation, and community support. So join our Facebook group, The Season of Self-Love, to connect with like-minded individuals on their journey to self-discovery and self-compassion. Thank you again for being a part of our community and dedicating to nurturing self-love and embracing self-worth. So stay tuned for more exciting episodes and guests in the next season. And remember, you are worthy of love, kindness, and all the happiness in the world. So until next time, take care of yourself and spread love wherever you go. See you soon.